How do there, guys, and welcome back to Edgar TV, where a new PDC season is ahead of us, 2023. We're about to go into Q School. If you want to know my predictions for that and what happens at Q School, subscribe to Edgar TV. I'll talk you through that. But first, we're going to look ahead of what already exists, the 2023 Pro Tour season. Now, we're first going to look at the players that could drop down this year in the rankings, significant names that could drop out the top 16, the top 32, or even out the top 64 altogether and lose those tour cards. And then tomorrow we're going to look at people who I expect to go up in the rankings. So again, if you want to see that, guys, just go hit that subscribe button below. Now, first thing we're going to do is going to take a look at the PDC rankings and see who is in these positions. Now, we could easily pick on Peter Wright because Peter Wright is defending the World Championship. This is something that we saw go when Price dropped down 3 places because of. So we're not going to pick up on things like that. What we're going to do is going to pick up on people that are lacking form significantly at the moment. James Wade comes to mind with that one, and James Wade had a bout of ill health last year, if you remember, and it sort of took him out of his stride towards the back end of the year. He's tempted and talked about possible retirement. I don't think that is going to be an option yet, but an option could be, and a strong option, that he drops outside the world's top 16. One of the reasons is because he recently, or I'll say recently, 2 years ago, he'll be defending the UK Open title. Now, the UK Open is not a very well paid event. Yes, the winner gets £100,000 like James Wade did, and he got in the Grand Slam of Darts, which he earned £43,500 from. At the moment, would not be in the Grand Slam of Darts, so that would be zero. And also, when we look at the UK Open payout, you'll see here that the low paying event that I'm talking about, because the amount of players in it and the divvying up of the prize fund. Now, if we was to say James Wade was to reach the quarterfinals of this event, which would be a good run, especially considering James Wade's form at the moment, he would lose £87,500 from his rankings, and obviously not in the Grand Slam of Darts as well. £43,500 has come off of that. By the time he comes around to the World Championship, he will need to defend £100,000 at that event. And as you can see, if we take off that sort of prize money from James Wade's ranking, potentially £250,000. He's currently on 440. Take off the 250, puts 190. Yes, he's going to earn more on top of that. So we're not saying he's going to have but 190. But 190 at the moment is world number 27. He will put some on that, but how much will he? And that's just those events. When we look at James Wade in total, if you just click on his name, we go over and you can see that he's actually in total defending £323,500, 73.5% of his prize fund. And this is significant because what we need to do is we need to find players such as a Ryan Searle, who's sort of got a nice split. You want like that sort of 50-50 split to get that sort of consistency and that position within there where you don't have those pressures. Christoph Ratajski, same thing again, 54%, 45%. So they're going to be firmly in those positions for some time. But James Wade could be one that drops out of the top 16. In fact, I'm going to say it, he does drop out the top 16 in 2023. Gary Anderson is a player who dropped out of the top 16 during this year's World Championship, and if he doesn't have a good year this year's World Championship might be the last one we see of Gary Anderson. He's going to need to earn about £28,000 before July, or throughout the year those events are just going to keep dropping off where he was in the World Match Play, the World Grand Prix. If he doesn't get that Pro Tour money by July, £60,000. When he gets to the World Championship, he's got £100,000 to come off of his Order of Merit. £100,000 is a semi-final place. That would be a monstrous run needed to keep him inside the world's top 32. After that, he has no guarantees in terms of being in the World Championship or being in any of the major events. Being out of the 16 means he's not in the Match Play or the Grand Prix. By that, needs the Pro Tour Order of Merit, the one-year ranking system. If you're not sure what I'm on about, I've done a video, Darts Rankings Explained. That might be a good one for you to go check out. But if we take a look at Gary Anderson and we say that the only guarantee he's got at this point of the season is the World Championship and the UK Open. He is sat here at the moment, world number 22, dropped 11 places. If we take off the £60,000, that'll put him down to 175. That should keep him in the top 32 for the Worlds, where he's defending 100,000. So £160,000 of Gary Anderson's money on the line, earned £75,000 last year. If he keeps up that £75,000, which includes appearances at the match play where he is not already qualified for, he comes out of the top 32. So he's going to need a significantly better year, and the first goal is getting on that Pro Tour, swallow the pride and get on the European Tour, get that £28,000, or we're going to see him drop to the bottom end of the 32 by the Worlds, and after the Worlds we'll see him outside of the Worlds 32. We are now looking at the record of Ian White, someone I can see losing their tour card this year, in all honesty. Look at the 2021 prize money to be defended, 73.6%, £78,000. He's only got £28,000 on there at the moment, which means he needs to get in some majors. Due to his ranking now, Ian White will only be seen at the UK Open. The other majors, he's defending big money at the World Match Play, £15,000, the Grand Prix, £16,000, the World Championship, £25,000, £2,500 at the Players' Championship. He will be on £58,500 just in terms of defending from the majors, not including any Pro Tours or Europeans. If he does not make the World Championship, he will lose his card. However, he needs to do more than just make the Worlds and the Players' Championship. Ian White needs to get into one of these other majors, or again, he will lose his card. He is currently £3,500 towards the World Match Play, 84th in the rankings for that. He's going to need to find around about £31,000 worth of prize money before July, remembering that last year he only achieved £28,000 in the entire season. Things are not looking good for Ian White, and I would put him on the list of people to watch out for losing their tour cards at the end of 2023. You can see that at the very top of your screen here, Ian White only got the 106,000 now, and most of that is up for grabs this year. Devon Petersen is another one we've got to look at. He's down 15 places, down to 58. He's very close to that drop point, which is the 64. He has to be in the top 64 by the end of that. He's only got £13,000 buffer on the rankings, of which most of it is up for grabs. 74.4% of his prize money up for grabs. Last year just earned £17,000. A repeat of that will seem well outside of the elite. And when we look forward to the events in which Devon Petersen is trying to qualify, the match play, the Grand Prix, those big events with the big prize money, same situation as White. He's going to need monstrous runs where potentially 2, maybe 3 Pro Tour wins could be needed in order to bridge that gap with the rest of the field. The minimum cut-off for Devon would be about £35,000. That would be 3 or so wins at the World Championship with a decent sort of Pro Tour season, or getting into one of these major events that we're talking about, such as the match play or so on. But the way Devon's been playing recently, he is a guy that really works hard at his game. I'm sure he's taking all the time he can in January to try and put this right, but on the evidence of what we've seen and the disappointment of not getting through that South African qualifier, Grant Simpson taking that place at the expense of Devon, I think that was a big costly blow to Devon's chances of keeping his tour card. I do think he'd get it back personally, but for now, I think 2023 ends with him outside the top 64. And that's my predictions for who we're going to expect to see go down in the rankings this year. I think James Wade comes out of the world's top 16. Gary Anderson comes out of the world's top 32. And we lose Ian White and Devon Petersen from the tour. Tomorrow I'm going to do this the other way around. So we're going to look at who could be going up the rankings. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to check out that video. And I'll catch you tomorrow for some more Edgar TV. Edgar TV.